This video is going to be a little bit different than normal because what we ended up doing, me and my friend Josh, we both recorded ourselves. So since we have both sets of footage, I thought it'd be interesting to go ahead and compare each person's footage to see, you know, does either person do something better than the other person? Does one person do everything better? You know, that sort of stuff. So I'll go ahead and go over what we were using. I'll roll in a footage real quick of the rifle that Josh was using. So Josh had a Galil Ace, I believe this is the Gen 2. It's a 5.56. He's using the Rock and Lock Galil mags. He's not using the AR mag well. He was using a 13-inch SBR. So it's not a brace on the back. It's a folding stock. The only upgrades that I'm aware of was he swapped out the handguard from the factory handguard to the Midwest Industries handguard, and then he put a Holosun red dot on there. He does have a flashlight on it, but that's not really relevant to the match. And then as far as what I was using, so this is my Colt 607 build, inspired. It's not clone correct or anything like that, but it's good enough. So as far as my rifle goes, we'll start from the front and go to the back. Silencer is the Silencer Omega 36M. I have a 30 caliber flash hider end cap. This is in the short configuration, not the long configuration. It's mounted to a Silencer 3-port ASR brake. This is the mount for a Magpul suppressor cover. The barrel and pretty much the guts of the gun are all Palmetto State Armory from a 10.5 pistol upper. The only things I changed on it were I swapped out the carbine, the typical carbine handguards for the triangle handguards. These are made by Fulton Armory, and then Fulton Armory actually makes this upper receiver as well. So I swapped out the normal flat top upper for a carry handle upper. The optic is an original Colt 3X scope. And then I guess someone's probably going to ask, or someone might wonder, so I'll go ahead and say, right now, with how I have it set up, I was essentially shooting the match with a 36-yard zero. Moving on to the lower. The lower itself is an Arrow lower. The trigger is a TriggerTech Duty. The pistol grip is a Magpul MOE K2. The buffer is an Odinworks adjustable buffer. I don't remember what I have it set to as far as the weight goes. And then the spring is a PSA carbine length AR-10 spring. I have the AR-10 weight spring in there because this gun is pretty overgassed, especially with the can, so that helps tame that a little bit. And then on the end, that's a DPMS Car 15 style brace. And then lastly, the magazine I have here is a Durmag. However, for the whole match, I was using 40 round P mags. I like how that mag looks, so that's why it's pictured there. So as far as the match footage itself goes, what I'll do for this video is I'll go ahead and let all the match footage play through with no commentary. And then after that, I'll go ahead and go back through each stage and talk about what specifically happened on each stage and how me and Josh placed relatively to each other.
All right, so before we get too carried away, I've allocated a few points between me and Josh. So for myself, I give myself 10 points for the triangle handguards because they're based, 10 points for the carry handle because it's based, 10 points for shooting suppressed because that's just better, minus 5 points for the 40 round mags because it's a bit of a gamer move and gamer moves are really lame, plus 10 points for pocket mags because why run a mag pouch on your belt when you just throw it in your pocket? And then another 10 points for running a retro gun. So overall, I'm at plus 45 points. And then for Josh, he gets 10 points for running a Rock and Lock mags because they're cooler. Unfortunately, he goes down 10 points because he's running an SBR and he's a bootlicker. I don't make the rules, I just apply the points. 20 points for running an AK. However, it's not a real AK, it's a Galil. So you're down 5 points there. Plus 10 points for running a belt rig. Giving him 10 points for the belt rig. I know that conflicts with what I said about the pocket mag. Don't think about it too hard, just accept it. And then this was his first match with this gun, so he gets 20 points for that. Now, just so happens that it coincidentally turns out that Josh ends up with 45 points as well. So, we start off the match. So for stage 1, Josh ends up taking the lead. He's at 187 points total, and I'm at 182. So we'll see how the next stage goes.
1694. Are you ready? Yep. Stand by.
Yep.
Stand by.
So on this stage, I end up taking the lead from Josh. I end up with a total of 367 points, and he's at 355. So I've got about a 12-point lead. So we'll see how the next one goes.
It's clear. Shooter, are you ready?
Yep. Yeah.
Stand by.
Stand by.
So Josh ended up beating me on this stage. However, I still hold an 8-point lead. So we'll see how it ends up after the next stage.
Shit, where my range flag go?
Are you ready? Shooter, are you ready? Stand by.
Yep.
Stand by.
Alright, so after this stage, I end up taking a big point lead ahead of Josh. I'm almost 20 points ahead. I'm at 662. He's at 643.
Shooter, are you ready?
Yep. Yep.
Stand by.
Alright, and to end it off, Josh ends up winning this stage. However, he's not quite able to catch up to me. He's still about 5 points behind. So for the whole match, I end up taking it. Alright, so now that we're looking at the stages more in depth. For stage 1, Josh ended up winning this stage, like I said. When we compare our footage, the main takeaways that I take is that I had faster doubles on the really close targets. However, Josh was a lot faster on the smaller, further targets. I think that's mainly because I'm over magnified. So on the really close targets, I'm just point shooting. I'm not actually really looking through my optic, which is also why I missed the target. And then on the further targets, I'm too zoomed in, and it's causing me to be slower. So it's just the way it worked out. Alright, so I ended up winning on stage 2. Again, big thing for me, I was faster on the doubles, faster on the target transitions. One of the advantages I had on this stage is I did not have to reload. So after this target right here, Josh ended up having to reload, so that way he had rounds for the end of the stage. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to worry about it. I was able to just take off to the next targets. The other thing, I ended up with better hits on this stage. I ended up with 30 alphas, whereas Josh had 27. So it's just, I was faster and I had better hits, and so I ended up on top. Alright, so continuing the theme of being faster, I was faster to the gun on this stage. I was faster to my first shot on this stage. However, the way Josh was able to beat me was that I screwed up on this target with the 2 black stripes on it. The first time I shot at it, I put 2 in the black, so I had to shoot it again. And then after that, it just kind of didn't go quite right. I didn't move when I transitioned from the targets through the port to the targets behind the barrel to the right of it. I didn't quite move to the back corner where I wanted, and so I wasted some time having to readjust after that. I ended up with overall better hits on this stage. However, I was a lot slower, and the difference in hit factor was enough that Josh came out on top. Alright, so for this next stage, I came out on top, which is kind of surprising because Josh finished about a second ahead of me. he had a better stage plan than I did, so he was able to get through the stage faster. The only reason I came out on top was because I had better hits. So my hit factor ended up faster, even though I was a little bit slower and had worse stage planning. So I thought this was a really fun stage. However, I ended up not doing very well on it, as is kind of the case for all the other stages. I was faster than Josh, moving between all the props. I was faster onto target, faster shooting the targets. The main problem I had was that I threw a shot on that target right there through the port. I ended up getting a miss somehow, and that cost me that stage. If I didn't have that miss, I probably would have had him. So this was a really fun match. I ended up placing 3rd out of 35 overall. Josh ended up 5th out of 35. I was at 90% of the top shooter, and Josh was at 89%. So between me and Josh, it was really close. Like, this was a fun video to edit, to watch back and forth between me and Josh, seeing where, you know, each person did things better. The main takeaways I took, obviously, as you heard me say plenty of times, I was faster than Josh, but that speed wasn't perfect. I had a few misses. I had to take a few makeup shots. I had some issues with movement. My stage planning wasn't as good as Josh's was. So, you know, it could have easily have gone to Josh. So even though I came out on top this time, if this had been a USPSA match, Josh would have smoked me. Josh shoots handgun way better than I do. And I think going forward, whenever I shoot one of these style of matches, whether it's the Carbine match or the USPSA match, if Josh is also shooting it, I think I'll do this style of video as well, because let's be honest, it's a bit more interesting than just watching one guy shoot. I think it's pretty cool seeing both perspectives. So with that being said, I think that's all I've got for this video. We'll wrap it up. I'm looking forward to the next match I'm doing. It'll be a match that I did last year, but I unfortunately screwed up the match footage, so I didn't get to post that video. So I'm hoping I can get that one out this year. So if you're curious to see what that match is going to be, stick around, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.